Yes, Morgan, I spoke with a law expert who was fairly confident that the Trump administration will not succeed in this case. Her sweaters may seem like a warm and simple statement, especially in the face of the weather, but it touches on a much bigger issue. The music had everyone in such good spirits that there were over 12 adoptions that day. I even came home with my own little bundle of joy. President Donald Trump says he's stepping up his immigration crackdown. On Tuesday, the president announced the federal government will halt payments to sanctuary cities. TikTok's newly formed U.S. business is facing early problems. Backed by a group of mostly American investors and approved by President Donald Trump, TikTok is drawing political scrutiny as the popular app faces ongoing technical problems. Today on Chicago This Week, for months now, the war in Iran has affected the nation.
From rising gas costs, inflated grocery prices, and veteran opposition, many have felt the impact.
Here in Chicago, we talk to policy experts.
You can't just keep bombing people forever.
Veterans.
As those service members are deciding they don't want to fight these wars anymore.
And Iranians themselves.
Friends, family are still in Iran, okay? Their lives matters to me.
All this and more right now.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Chicago This Week. I'm Victoria Olaleye.
And I'm Morgan Hawes. Today we'll be taking a deeper look into the war with Iran, but we begin with breaking news. According to government-aligned media, this morning, Tehran suspends talks with the U.S. to protest Israel's expanding military offensive in Lebanon. This comes after the U.S. and Iran exchanged strikes over this past weekend. An Iranian-aligned news agency added that the Iranian government is considering a full closure into the Strait of Hormuz. Iran did not comment officially, and U.S. officials did not immediately respond to comment either.
Staying overseas, even as Iran is considering a full closure, it has established operational control over the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global resource causing severe economic impacts. Here to give us a little more information on the importance of the strait is our reporter, Morgan Norris. Morgan?
Yeah, Victoria, the Strait of Hormuz is the world's most critical oil and gas choke point, and it's the only sea passage from the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. It's a global energy lifeline and a primary export route for Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran itself. So any blockades like what's happening right now causes immediate supply shortages and sends global fuel prices soaring. Beyond that, it's vital for the trade of natural gas and fertilizer, making it essential for global food security. And there are no practical alternatives to the strait, no viable detours, so all ships entering or leaving must pass through this narrow 21-mile gap, meaning nations across the globe, specifically in the United States, are experiencing major consequences. Victoria?
Thanks, Morgan. Besides trade, the United States and Iran has had a tense history that ranges several decades, from oil, international policy, to Western intervention. I spoke to an award-winning Iranian filmmaker and assistant professor at Northwestern University for some more insight. As people walk the streets of the United States, the impact of conflict thousands of miles away is hitting home. Things like higher gas prices, groceries, and flight costs are tied to growing tensions with Iran. But this moment is tied to a history that goes back generations.
The biggest turning point was probably the hostage crisis when 66 Americans, including diplomats and other personnel, were taken hostage in a U.S. embassy in Iran. That was the beginning of sort of a pattern in the behavior of the Islamic regime.
That crisis marked a turning point in how the regime handled conflict. She says many Iranian activists who opposed the government later faced imprisonment, torture, or execution. She adds that one natural resource has long been a driving force behind conflict in the region.
oil definitely has been the center of many ups and downs of the history in Iran.
That dynamic is also shaping current policy, including efforts to expand the Abraham Accords.
One of the goals that Trump is, probably following and constantly talk about is bringing more Gulf countries to the Abraham Accords. Some of the countries such as, UAE and Bahrain have already accepted the Abraham Accords, but while others like Saudi Arabia and, Qatar and Kuwait were not willing to join.
She says that the regime has fueled divisions across Gulf countries, a dynamic she believes may align with broader U.S. goals.
The regime turned the whole Gulf countries against themselves. And that might be one of the objectives of the U.S. intervention.
One Champaign-Urbana activist shares her perspective on U.S. intervention in the Southwest Asia and North Africa region.
When it comes to U.S. policy, or even just Western policy in general in that area, the word that comes to me is meddling. You see a repetitive meddling in the affairs in the area.
She says U.S. intervention in the region is often tied to cooperation with its own interests.
U.S. has been militarily present in many countries, many of the Arab and Gulf countries for a very long time, but then also on levels that are a little less visible when it comes to things like aid being conditional on their support of different U.S. policies, their support of U.S. bases on their sovereign land.
Despite her concerns, she shares her hopes for the future of the region.
People want self-determination, and people are capable of self-determination. And this idea that they need foreign intervention and they need foreign influence to have their own self-determination.
We have this benefit to help people, and I get involved in that all the time, and to help the other person. I mean, I know what it's like to have difficulties.
With recent floods across the country, a Buckley business owner is aiming to make a big impact. Ardell Getting, or as most know him, Goat, is pairing up with his insurance company, raising money for flood relief in Texas.
Thriven's calling is to help people in need, and that's how we come to the forefront to help people in many different ways.
Thrivent Insurance is matching $1 for every $2 Getting collects.
Heartwarming to be able to do it. I mean, you got hundreds of people in Illinois. Are they helping anybody? I mean, this a little bit here and a little bit there, they're helping somebody.
Hosting a fundraiser like this is nothing new for him and community members.
2 years ago, we helped out North Carolina with Thrivent. Now this is here, I got a little more time, so I'm going to get $1,000 from them, I hope, to raise to over $2,000.
And he's hoping the community will turn out again.
I haven't heard of any other towns really doing it, any other organizations, but I take it upon myself as a Thrivent member and a promoter to do it.
Reporting in Buckley, Victoria Olaleye, WCIA 3, your local news leader.
Welcome home.
Welcome home. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Walking into a furnished home can feel like walking into a new life. At Digs with Dignity, houses are being made into homes. The mission serves those who have recently overcome homelessness.
When we can give them like a fully furnished space that feels comfortable and dignified, it gives them something to feel proud of. It keeps them, excited to come home from work, to like be in their space and actually relax in their space instead of just coming home and sleeping on the floor.
One co-founder says their work goes beyond furnishing homes.
We have been able to keep over 300,000 pounds out of landfills since we began, which is an amazing feat. And we take a lot of pride in that.
A former client is now giving that same moment to others.
I was homeless, but I ended up going to rehab. I had like a drug addiction. After that, my caseworker told me, she was like, it's this place called Digs with Dignity, and I think you would be a good fit.
And that she was, but only after a push from the woman she now calls a boss and a friend.
At that time, she let me know that she believed in me. And once she said that, it was just like, forget it. Yeah, I accept. And that's when I started actually working for Digs with Dignity.
It's not just about furniture. It's about safety, comfort, and a fresh start.
A 7-year-old boy sees his room for the first time and says, now I have a bed to sleep on. That's pretty powerful.
The organization is always looking for volunteers, and it also offers home pickup services for unused furniture. Reporting in Chicago, Victoria Olaleye, Chicago This Week.